you imagine the impact a single player can have on a team that is on the cusp of greatness? What if that player was Miles Garrett? For the Detroit Lions, a team that has been relentlessly striving to reach the pinnacle of the NFL and capture the elusive Lombardi Trophy. The acquisition of Garrett could be the key to not only transforming their defense, but also potentially propelling them to the long-awaited Super Bowl victory. In 2024, the Detroit Lions showed flashes of brilliance, but their season ended in heartbreaking fashion. They secured the #1 seed in the NFC, securing home field advantage in the playoffs, and hopes were high in Detroit. But everything came crashing down with a devastating loss to the Washington Commanders in the divisional round. It was a loss that exposed the team's defensive vulnerabilities, particularly in the pass rush department. While the Lions boasted impressive talent, including the young star Aiden Hutchinson, their defensive line revealed that it lacked the consistent power needed to compete with the league's best. When you look back at the loss to the Commanders, it's evident that the defense failed to make key stops in critical moments. The pass rush was ineffective and struggled to generate pressure on the quarterback throughout the game. This, of course, is a significant issue, because in the NFL, particularly in the playoffs, the ability to disrupt the opposing quarterback and dominate the line of scrimmage is critical. Despite Hutchinson's excellent performance, it was clear that the Lions needed more firepower in the defensive line to truly contend for a Super Bowl. Enter Miles Garrett, the defensive end for the Cleveland Browns. Garrett is widely regarded as one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. His numbers speak for themselves. He combines power, speed, and technique in a way few others can. In a league full of talented athletes, Garrett stands out. When he requested a trade earlier in the offseason, many began to speculate on where the elite defender might end up. Among the teams in play for Garrett, the Detroit Lions quickly became one of the most attractive options. So what would happen if Garrett were actually traded to Detroit? Let's imagine the scenario. Miles Garrett in a Lions uniform. Suddenly, Detroit's defensive line would become one of the most intimidating units in the NFL, with Hutchinson already established as a rising star. The combination of Garrett and Hutchinson as bookends would be a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Garrett's explosiveness off the line of scrimmage would add a new dimension to the Lions' pass rush. Opposing offensive lines would have their hands full trying to handle both Garrett and Hutchinson, creating opportunities for sacks, forced fumbles, and turnovers. But the impact wouldn't stop at the field. Garrett would also bring a psychological edge to the Lions. Adding a player of Garrett's caliber to any team changes the entire mindset of the organization. Garrett isn't just an elite player, he's a natural leader. His track record in big games, his ability to step up in clutch moments, and his presence would inspire the entire team. The Lions, who have long been a team with potential but have yet to reach the highest level, would suddenly have that missing ingredient, a true leader who can elevate the play of everyone around him. In the locker room, Garrett's veteran leadership would be invaluable to players like Hutchinson, who is still relatively new to the NFL. Hutchinson would have a front-row seat to learn from one of the best, helping him improve his own game. Having Garrett on the team would raise the entire defense's confidence, not to mention the offense, which could benefit from the extra possessions generated by a more dynamic defense. The Lions' mindset would shift from a team hoping to contend to a team expecting to contend. Out on the field, Garrett would elevate the Lions' defense in several key ways. His ability to get after the quarterback would force more hurried passes, leading to potential interceptions and passes deflected. With Garrett and Hutchinson both causing chaos, the Lions' linebackers and secondary would have more opportunities to make plays. Players like Alex Anzalone would be able to focus on coverage without worrying about being exposed by a lack of pass rush. The added pressure on quarterbacks would also help Detroit's secondary, making it easier for cornerbacks and safeties to cover their receivers. More pressure on the opposing quarterback means more mistakes, and the Lions could capitalize on those mistakes to create turnovers. The impact of having Garrett in Detroit would ripple throughout the entire team. With an elite pass rusher like Garrett on the field, the entire defense would play more aggressively, knowing that the line of scrimmage would be dominated. If Garrett's arrival opens up more opportunities for turnovers and sacks, the offense would be in a prime position to capitalize and score. Detroit already has a promising offensive line, and with the addition of Garrett to the defense, the team would be more balanced than ever before. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Acquiring a player like Garrett would come at a significant cost. The Cleveland Browns won't just let go of one of the top defensive players in the league without a considerable return. A trade for Garrett would be expensive both financially and in terms of draft capital. Brad Holmes, Detroit's general manager, would need to be aggressive and strategic in his approach. This wouldn't be a trade for the faint of heart, but the payoff could be enormous. For a team like Detroit, which has already built a solid foundation, adding Garrett would be the kind of move that could push them from being a good team to a Super Bowl contender. But what if the trade doesn't happen? Fortunately, the 2025 NFL Draft offers a deep pool of pass rushers, and the Lions could still land a talented player who could make an immediate impact. James Pierce from Tennessee is one name that has been drawing attention. He has the speed and explosiveness needed to become a disruptive force in the NFL. Although his draft stock has dropped slightly over the course of the season, Pierce still has the potential to be a major contributor. With the right development, Pierce could become a force on Detroit's defensive line. Another player the Lions could target is Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. Stewart impressed during the Senior Bowl and showcased the skills necessary to thrive at the NFL level. He's a player who could be a perfect fit for the Lions, especially if they're looking to add a versatile and explosive pass rusher to their defense. Stewart has a lot of upside, and he could develop into a key piece for the Lions' defense. Yet despite these draft options, it's clear that Garrett would be the final piece to the puzzle. With a proven track record of producing double sacks year after year, Garrett would provide the Lions with the elite pass rusher they've lacked for decades. Detroit has had strong individual players, but they've never had that one game changer who can take over a game when it matters most. Garrett would fill that role, instantly elevating the team's defense to another level and making Detroit one of the most feared teams in the NFC. Furthermore, the addition of Garrett would have a significant long-term impact on the franchise. It's not just about one season or one playoff run, it's about building a sustainable, winning culture. Garrett would not only improve the defense, but also send a message to the rest of the NFL. The Lions are no longer a team to underestimate. They are serious contenders with a legitimate chance to win it all. This could attract even more top-tier free agents to Detroit in the future, creating a snowball effect that would help solidify the team as one of the league's elite franchises for years to come. At the end of the day, the Detroit Lions are in a very enviable position. They have a talented roster that is on the verge of becoming a true Super Bowl contender. The addition of Miles Garrett would push them to that next level, providing the elite pass rusher they need to dominate the line of scrimmage and create more opportunities for the offense. If the trade goes through, the Lions could emerge as one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC. However, even if Garrett doesn't end up in Detroit, the team still has options in the draft and could find a valuable pass rusher to help solidify their defense. Detroit's defense is on the brink of greatness, and whether it's Garrett or another pass rusher, this team has the potential to be a force to be reckoned with in 2025. With a strong foundation in place, the Lions are ready to take that next step. They are ready to compete for the Super Bowl, and the addition of an elite player like Garrett would only help them get there. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated with all things Detroit Lions, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Lions News Fan Report. We'll bring you all the latest news, analysis, and everything you need to know about the future of the team. Don't miss out.